John Aubrey loved England. He was born a gentleman in Wiltshire in 1626. He grew up heir to the house he first drew breath in, surrounded by rolling green fields and falcon-frequented skies. From an early age, he saw his England slipping away and committed himself to preserving for posterity what remained of it, in stories, books, monuments and buildings. Aubrey was wonderfully imaginative. By posterity, he meant us, people of the future, who would hear his voice through his writing and be grateful for the information he bequeathed. While he was not one of the foremost intellects of the Royal Society, where he coincided with Isaac Newton, Robert Hooke and Robert Boyle, among others, he did make pioneering contributions to archaeology and architecture. He discovered a circle of holes, afterwards named after him at Stonehenge. I first wanted to write about Aubrey when I lived in the Wiltshire village of Wyley in my early 20s. Aubrey's places, Stonehenge, Wilton House, Salisbury Plain, the rivers and meadows and undulating hills, seemed still touched by his presence. He is one of the finest English prose writers there have ever been. This book is his imagined diary. Here are some of the entries that describe Stonehenge as it was in his time. 14th of April, 1655. Mr. Inigo Jones's theories on the origins of Stonehenge have been posthumously published by his assistant, Mr. John Webb, but the monument has been framed to fit Mr. Jones's hypothesis that it was a Roman temple. I do not think the evidence of the stones supports his argument. I find it strange that Mr. Camden, in his Britannia, does not notice that the stones at Stonehenge are grey weathers and come from a pit no more than 14 miles away, where there are thousands of such stones to be drawn out of the earth. Some stones, not big enough for use at Stonehenge or Avebury, still lie on the brink of the pit. October 1663. I have returned to Stonehenge and discovered some new holes. I noticed too, but not for the first time, that the high stones are so deeply honeycombed that the starlings use them as nests. Whether these holes in the high-up stones are natural or artificial, I cannot tell. In Wales, starlings are called Ada y Druwi, meaning birds of the Druids. Perhaps the Druids made these holes on purpose for their loquacious birds to nest in. This calls to my mind Pliny's description of the starling in his time that could speak Greek. While I think it very probable that Stonehenge already existed long before the Romans became masters of Britain, they would have been delighted with the stateliness and grandeur of it, and, considering the dryness of its situation, would have found it suitable for urn burial. There are about 45 barrows near Stonehenge. It must have taken a great deal of time to collect so many thousand loads of earth, and soldiers have better things to do, so I do not think these barrows were for burying the dead slain in battles. I have made a close study of Walter Charlton's Coria Gigantum, or the most famous antiquity of Great Britain, vulgarly called Stonehenge, standing on Salisbury Plain, restored to the Danes, which was printed at the Anchor in the New Exchange last year, 1663. He is mistaken in his claim that the stones are unhewn as they came from the quarry. They are hewn. Aubrey's pioneering work on the megaliths at Avebury and Stonehenge was recognised by the 18th century antiquary William Stukeley, who surveyed both sites and became the first secretary of the London Society of Antiquaries in 1718. Stukely followed Aubrey in attributing the stone monuments to the Druids. But whereas Aubrey imagined the Druids were members of a savage culture, Stukely thought they were bearers of Mosaic wisdom and the highest of all high priests of nature. Aubrey would have been appalled and horrified by the Transport Secretary's decision to approve a tunnel and road scheme through the unique historic landscape that is Stonehenge. He would hope, as I do, that it is never too late to see sense, never too late to take our responsibility to posterity seriously and protect Stonehenge.